is so huge that it can actually be the end of Tinubu and APC generally. What they are about to release can trigger a national and international real protest. The revolution you are talking about, what they are about to release, can be the ingredients for that revolution. I just thought I should tell you. Even though many of us believe that with the level of the state capture in Nigeria, it is going to be effort in futility. It's going to be waste of time. It is not going to change anything. But somehow, there are those who are well convinced that even America knows what this is likely going to be for Nigeria. And they are also trying to play it with care. Seriously, Tinubu is ready to jump as high as America wants him to jump. Tinubu is ready to share the what do you call it? The booties, the loot of the carcass of Nigerians that are going to be the victims of their crooked government. So whatever America wants, they can take in Nigeria. So if America release all of these things, I'm talking about the real thing. Would that simply mean America is also ready to throw Tinubu under the bus and help trigger the local revolution in Nigeria? There are so many worries. Can Tinubu's hired media handlers undo what is about to be released? Can the judiciary in Nigeria that has become so compromised, can they still help reduce the damage control of what is about to be released? Nobody knows. But somebody is worried. And I think some other people knows too why they are or they should be worried. Nobody knows. You and I don't know. So whatever I tell you right now, they are going to be from those who are in the know, but they are not authorized to actually issue those documents. So therefore, they are not official. So when FBI release them, it is not just FBI releasing documents, CIA releasing, Internal Revenue of America releasing. Are you with me? As they are releasing those documents, they will be releasing them on his family too. So it's going to be like a health shattering information. Now, if somebody say nothing will happen in Nigeria after that, they may be right and they may be wrong. So this law firm is now asking them to release it quick. Are you with me? Release them, because Tinubu is about to play a smart one on Nigerians. I'll go read them for word so that it's going to help me to further make my illustration on this and take you straight to why they will do anything and everything to also get David Undenyi, same way they did everything and tried everything to kidnap Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. A lot of you have no idea how many years it took them and how much of Nigeria resources it took them to get Nnamdi Kanu kidnapped from Kenya. Even though you might say, of course, they have the resources. Nnamdi Kanu was kidnapped from Kenya based on a fraudulent intel to Kenyan government, which later took the Kenyan government into the international court, where they are now not even just international, they are denying Nigeria, they are denying their involvement in what they helped Nigeria to do. So the same thing is what you are about to witness. Why? They will go to the end of the world. And I'll tell you why soon. I'm going to read this one word for word, okay? So this was submitted by the attorney that is asking for the freedom of information. So I know, freedom trades, right? People have said that, okay? Even me, I have heard people who have said that to me many times. There is nothing FBI will release that will change anything. But here is my own theory. Let me make I tell you my theory. Just like I said earlier, okay? A lot of Nigerians are expecting, what is that special thing that FBI is going to tell us about Tinubu that is going to finally unsettle Nigerians and they will react? What is that thing? Then I said, from what we have already heard, they said they have over 70,000 documents on Tinubu and his associates. You understand? Right now, Tinubu has been obeying America. Whatever America wanted from him, he is ready to do it. Okay? Whatever, if they ask him to jump, he's ready. He's just going to ask them, how high? Somehow, even if his policies and his actions are making Nigerians poorer, as long as the interest of America is still protected, America don't give a shit about Nigeria. So this is where they will now come in. Shebi they are expecting FBI to release something. Oh yeah, release. You just release all this and that to them. By not releasing the real thing. Shey you understand now? Which means they will release what they believe will just be meant for sensation. So by so doing, America has controlled how majority of those who are waiting for America profile to shake earth, they will be disappointed and be like, see, is this what we have been waiting for? So now all this trash, they won't show us since. That is to tell you that America is now holding, they are holding the ace now. Shall you understand? At least for those who are waiting for America. I know it's not be all of us, they wait for America FBI. We are just waiting for what is in that thing that Tinubu is ready to spend every dollar to stop them from releasing. So according to Greenspan, they said this lawsuit concerns a number of Freedom of Information Acts requests about Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who is recognized by many as the current president of Nigeria. Mr. Tinubu had a role in the early 1990s laundering money for a heroin ring in Chicago. The FOIA request at issue in this case largely involves documents that more fully describe his role in that criminal enterprise. Mr. Tinubu's 2023 elections to the Nigeria presidency is hotly contested. According to the New York Times, a judicial tribunal in Nigeria confirmed on Wednesday, September 6, the result of a contested February presidential election that kept Africa's most populous country on edge amid allegations of voting irregularities and tainted the first month in power for the declared winner, President Tinubu. So see, in quotes, Nigerian court reject challenges to contested presidential election by Elian Peltier, September 6, 2023. That is the link in that motion. While the same New York Times article also reported that the plaintiffs have 60 days to file an appeal to Nigeria Supreme Court. In the past 24 hours, the timelines of events appears to have accelerated dramatically in Nigeria. The Nigerian Supreme Court now plans to begin hearing arguments regarding the circumstances of Mr. Tinubu's election on Monday, 23rd October. The sudden advance in timing appears intended to front-run the release of responsive FOIA documents from the defendants in this action, and especially the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Those documents will likely be directly relevant to the foreign proceedings in Nigeria. Through defendant counsel, plaintiff made defendants aware of the foreign proceedings in Nigeria in September 2023. Defendants acknowledged the unique circumstances in this case and affirmed that documents will be produced as they became available. No documents have been produced thus far. Attached to this motion is, as Exhibit A, is a document that purports to have a scheduling order relevant to this matter issued by the Supreme Court of Nigeria, pursuant to Local Civil Rule 7M Plaintiff attempted to discuss this matter by email and phone with Attorney Littman, but he responded that he is on leave today. In light of the above, plaintiff requests a remote Zoom or similar hearing at the court's earliest convenience, and ideally on Monday, October 23rd, to discuss even most remote possibly of documents being produced before the October 31st, 2023 chosen by defendant for themselves. Rightly so. This was the what do you call it, the legal team requesting for the official release of all of the documents relating to Tinubu's drug heroin dealing and heroin trafficking business in America, especially relating to that, should be released. Meanwhile, if you check Tinubu's case, asking the court to stop the release of those documents until 31st of October. Do you understand? Tinubu is asking the court to please stand down FBI from releasing all of his documents at least until the 31st of October. Now, when he was asking the court in America to delay the release, they quickly went to Nigeria to put the Supreme Court justices together to go and listen to the case of Atiku and Obi. Do you understand that now? So are they all adding up to you for you? So now let us come back to the part where a lot of people believe that nothing FBI will release or America will release will make any difference in Nigeria. You may be right, and you may also be wrong. Remember my theory earlier. It's my theory. It doesn't mean that I am right, okay? And it doesn't also mean that I'm wrong. I'm saying it is only the Americans who have all these records. They will be the one to vet what they will release. Of course, the law says they have to release them, okay? So if they release the original stuff, they further give all of the exposure needed. Okay? That simply means Tinubu is done for. You may not understand what that means, but you understand later. It is going to be a Pandora. This time, it will drag Nigeria to the hole with him. And it's just not going to end there. That's another thing. Whenever FBI finally release all of these documents, they are just going to open up more questions. It's not going to end there. There will be more questions and more questions. And as people are asking more questions, they'll be digging out more. All of these are going to continue to have negative effect on Nigeria. Tinubu will be battling with all of that. His image and all of those who are going to be doing the media damage control here and there, while the rest of Nigeria will continue to burn. Economic destruction. And that is going to be the aftermath of all of this. And as their own ways, as it is always their way, they will blame others, as they are doing right now. And why do they want David? You know David Undenyi. Make I give you some reminders of some of the things or some of the jobs he did that a lot of us today probably don't even remember them. Talk less of valuing them. Talk less of ensuring that they never happened again. I'll give you some of them that comes to my mind. David Undenyi, when the killings in the Middle Belt part of Nigeria, when the Fulani terrorists, with the help of the APC, Egbekegbe, the financiers of this terrorism, were murdering and slaughtering the people of the Middle Belt, the Christians especially, when they are slaughtering the Christians in the Christians communities all over the northern part of Nigeria, the government of Nigeria, through the likes of El Rufaya, they were paying people, okay, to call every report of attack and killings, to call them clashes, clashes, that anybody who is talking about the killings, who are reporting the killings, the thousands of the killings of this, the killings of thousands of these Christians, the kidnapping and beheadings of bishop, evangel, these Christian preachers in northern Nigeria, Nigerian northern criminal politicians, they were spending money to turn whoever was reporting those murderous campaign at the time as enemies of Nigeria who wanted to trigger religious war. Meanwhile, there was already religious war going on. People were being slaughtered. Seriously. David Hundeyin did all the collection and he reported on that genocide. He didn't just report it. There were witnesses, there were pictures, there were eyewitnesses, there were survivors. There were images and the videos of the ruins. There were mention of those who were sponsoring the murderous campaign in northern Nigeria by David Hundeyin. The report was a 450-page report of the genocide going on in the middle belt part of Nigeria. This was a very detailed job done by David. Nobody reacted. The perpetrators, they are in different political positions in Nigeria today. Yes, they are. Those who were in charge then, they maintained those positions for years. And the killings continued. See kind of continues. It was David Hundeyin who was like, when everybody was asking questions, who were those behind the terrorism in Nigeria? What was the genesis of terrorism? How are they funding terrorism in Nigeria? He did a masterpiece, Conflicts for Jihad. We are talking about things that you can put your hands on. Projects that answered questions. But a lot of people, they never bother to open them. Here you get, giving room for the criminals to further fund all of their propagandists to chart different narratives. Conflicts for Jihad. You remember that, don't you? David Hundeyin started this journey of exposing who is Amodashongolere, Abi Ogunlere, Tinubu, and this issue of certificate verification and the fact that he actually was a career criminal. There are evidence. He did a masterpiece on that and he put his life on the line for it. And his freedom too. So that same David, still free, walking about, is just going to be an endless nightmare for people who had no plan of changing Nigeria, but to make your life even worse and hellish as possible. So he's going to always tell us, if you're asking how money they miss, if you're asking how terrorists are being funded, if you're asking how much, what do you call it? Those who are supposed to be in jail are still walking about. David will give you the answer. He will give you the evidence, and he will tell you their names. They don't want that. They don't want that. He is a walking atomic bomb, just like Nnamdi Kanu was a walking atomic bomb. They did a great job. They did a wonderful job. They spent so much money to give you the impression of what majority of you watching me right now have about Nnamdi Kanu. So many of you could not actually pinpoint and present any real proof where Nnamdi Kanu indeed committed any act of violence against anybody. No, but they did a great job these past years because Nnamdi Kanu was telling all of us, remember how they were using the churches to blackmail you, using your religion to blackmail you, telling you the real teachings of what they are teaching this northern Muslim population. They are teaching them supremacy over others. They are teaching them that Nigeria is their inheritance. He said, by the time they start with you, when they start killing all of us, at the end of the day, you will see your government backing them. Instead of your government to fight for you, they will be fighting for the terrorists. Nnamdi Kanu said that. A lot of you who have now come to learn how to live with this life of terrorism that Nigeria has become in 8 years of APC, a lot of you were calling him a madman. He was inciting violence. Nnamdi Kanu was making the Igbos to hate Nigeria. Nnamdi Kanu is making the Nigerians to hate Igbos. Nnamdi Kanu is preaching hatred. He's doing this or that. Of course, a lot of you have told me that you have come to regret that you believed all the lies you were told, even though you still have your disagreement with the way he was delivering his message. But you are so sorry that you choose never to listen to him, that everything he said, they've now happened. And a lot of you are now asking, how did we get here? Right before your very eyes. They are pardoning terrorists. They are rehabilitating terrorists. But terrorism in Nigeria has become a huge industry. When they arrest Fulani terrorists, okay, in the morning, by evening time, he will be getting ready to pray Ishai prayer. They raise the generation to make you to hate you. And you are so concerned that Nnamdi Kanu wanted the rest of Igbos and the rest of Nigeria to actually understand this true picture. What do you mean? I mean, what do you think in a country where you are supposed to be one Nigeria, but there are some who believe that you are an infidel if you are from southern Nigeria or if you are a Christian? Is that not true? Is that not real? Even when somebody tells you, I'm a Muslim and I don't believe in that, I don't believe in that idea, does that make it not something that is happening? Are there no millions of Nigerians who believe that if you are not a Muslim, you are an infidel, a filthy thing, something that should never be touched, something that is worthless, valueless, and you are supposed to be of the same country? Are you not hearing people who publicly preach that? You don't hate them, do you? Because you are scared of them. You are scared of the violence that they actually preach, Abi. Now, your government finally legalized those violence right before your eyes. You are so ashamed of yourself that you cannot, in your pride and your ego, you cannot admit that somebody once told you that they will do that to you. Nnamdi Kanu told you like a prophet. Of course he did. There, and you see what they have done to him. Do you see how they made him more dangerous than those who are kidnapping Nigerians and killing them, harvesting their organs for money? And they can't do anything for them or to them. They are telling you to learn how to live with them, or you are going to be tagged Islamophobic. So Nnamdi Kanu is more dangerous than them in some of you said textbook today. So they did a great job. They did a great job. And we also put up enough resistance against misinformation and fake news of these criminals who are the real habitat or harbinger of violence. Once they just need to give a dog a bad name before they hang it, Abi. So they went all out to stage a kidnapping and kidnapped a man that they have no case against, and he even defeated them in their own country, in their own court, using their own laws, but they are so shameless that they can't let him go. Remember that. They are planning the same thing for David Hundeyin, because with David Hundeyin still walking about, all of you who call people like us noisemakers, realities, people who are like, realists like us, you call us inciters. Those who tell people the truth and let them react on it. You call us inciters because we have evidence to present. People like David Ondeyi, is more dangerous to this criminal enterprise. And when he said they have commissioned K1 the Ultimate as well as MC Olueron to start tracking him, I don't want you to think that is a fake news or a false alarm. I'll tell you why you shouldn't. A lot of us in Nigeria, including many of us who are still in Nigeria today, we grew up dancing to musics that are celebrating criminals, successful criminals, drug dealers, money launderers, certificate forgers, as you can tell. I am talking about economic saboteurs, real violent criminals, drug dealers. As long as they spend money to some of these A-list artists at the time, it was about money. And that's to show your success. They build new houses, just bought new cars. Or they just married new wife. Or they are marrying another wife. And they want to share that. Or they just turned another age. And they want to celebrate that. Or they were just given as chieftaincy titles. We were dancing. I still dance, unfortunately. I still dance to some of this beautiful music that are glorifying criminals, glorifying political criminals too. And in this case, we were all there, ignorantly, celebrating criminals. But it is more than that. Ayinde build relationship with his own audience. For those who know Ayinde very well, and those who know Nigerians very well, if you are looking for Hausa, Igbo, Yoruba, and all Nigerians from all parts of Nigeria, those who can speak Yoruba and those who can't, many of them have crossed through Ayinde himself. There were times in our own childhood when we were growing up, the report of musicians in Nigeria running as drug mills for drug dealers. I mean, I can remind you, in case if you don't know, because a lot of you today, you are now so used to Afrobeat, Davido, Wizkid, Burna, Ati, who is there again? Lil, I don't know. You are used to them today. Those who are making at least some clean money, with others who are also making some little Yahoo money and other fraudulent things they are all engaging themselves in. When we were growing up, during my own time, Fuji musicians were either reported to have been arrested for drug dealing. They said some of them who were so famous from Nigeria, they will pack drugs in the 80s. Listen to this. So in the 80s, they will pack drugs in their speakers because they have tour. They are going to London. They are going to America. Because most of the time, when they move all those drugs down, in their speakers and the special coverage privilege they had, those drug dealers are those who are going to come to their shows and spray money, like, you know what I mean? Because most of the time, when they leave Nigeria and say they are going on tour, they are going there to perform at some restaurants, African restaurants in some corner shops in some of these top cities in the world. Not that they are actually like going into a big place like that. But at some point, people were organizing birthday. When they know that they are actually in town, they can give them job of, come and perform at my party. But when you look at the lifestyle of some of these artists from Nigeria in those days, right? Their lifestyle and the money they earn, they don't match. And a lot of us grew up knowing that most of them are drug dealers or they are friends of drug dealers. So Ayinde was top of the list, by the way. Yeah, stories plenty in that regard. And when you are talking about knowing people, knowing boys, it's so easy. A lot of those people that a lot of you know today, whether you know them as a bad boys or bad, good, big bad boys, whatever you call them as, majority of them, they are very much close to some of these artists. So, and they can actually get people who can give him free information where David is. MC Olueron is the richest, is the richest political thug in Nigeria and possibly in the rest of Africa today. The guy on the right, okay, is supposed to be a non-state actor, but is really, really well covered. Now, because MC Olueron is also the leader of some of these criminal, violent people all over the world, there's something these guys have managed to do. You see, one of that is this. Their political coverage, the political backings that they have has given them access, unlimited access to so many parts of the world. That you can give that to them. And it is not just that. Based on their activities and their loyalty to their criminal leaders like Tinubu, these guys like MC Olueron, who are very much in the know of, name all the kind of crimes you want to, criminal you want. Do you want assassins, people who help to kill people? Assassins, Do you want political thugs who can just come in and cause political riots and kill people? Do you want people who can indeed act as what you call a mob? They can come after an entire community, unleash violence, and the police will do nothing. Now, one thing here is this. They have access to all of the condemned criminals that you can think of. All of the hardened cultists you can think of. MC Olueron did not go to any school. So don't think he became the leader of all the cultists or all of these criminals in that aspect because he went to any school. No. MC Olueron is running a criminal enterprise under the banner of National Road Transport Union. Workers or something, NURTW. Abi? And that was how they legalized their criminality. Now, what they do that you don't know is that apart from them having access to any part of the world, under different cover, including diplomatic passports, they also have the same capacity to take out all of the wanted criminals, wanted assassins, wanted cultists, wanted murderers from Nigeria. They can get them relocated from Nigeria and give them new identity in any part of the world. They have been doing it. There are some of them that they will tell you is wanted in Nigeria, but is living in America under a different name, courtesy of the likes of MC Olueron. All of these guys, they hold them. So when people tell me, Mayegun, be very careful, all these things that you are saying, they are so true. They all have all these, they are criminal people everywhere. I said, I know. I do, I know. But being careful means you shouldn't in any way trying to educate the society on the activities as well as the criminal reach of these criminals. At the same time, what they are capable of doing in particular, without you yourself having some level of personal protection for yourself. I wouldn't have to talk about that to you, but it doesn't mean that they don't have the resources to harm anybody anywhere. But it's the one powerful resources that I believe is more valuable than money, which is what they have, okay, is that for people to know and be aware of the type of people you are dealing with, and don't lose guard. Don't pretend that nothing can happen. Anything can happen anywhere. So if I tell you, it's because I know it and I believe it. So if you tell me to be very careful, I hope you are also being careful too. And in the level of being careful, does that then mean that we're all going to have to run away from these criminals? No, we are not going to run away from them. They are not many. They are the violent ones. They are those who have violence. They have the backing of government and they believe they can get away with it. But it's because you don't know the power you have too. Now that you know what they are capable of doing, you can now begin to tell yourself too, how do you safeguard and indeed clip their fingers? You may be saying, okay, David, we must protect David. It is not just David. A lot of you are going to become David too. I did tell you sometimes ago, I said, whether you like it or not, Okay? Whether you are on this side today and you think it's not affecting you, and you think some people are doing too much, your own self too much. Your own self too much. Every time too much. My brother, it is a matter of time. Because Nigeria is going to make you become somebody like Mayegun too. Don't worry. Nigeria is going to make you become somebody like Nnamdi Kanu. Nigeria will force you to become somebody like Sunday Igboho. You are all going to become even worse than the people you think are doing too much in reacting to the expansionist, as well as the idea of this state capture and what they stand for and the damages they can do. Some of you, by being well informed, okay, we are saving ourselves too, because you are going to become us, whether they arrest us or kidnap us or even kill us. It is never going to stop, because what they are doing, they are produce people like us and produce thousands, if not millions, of people like me. It's still being done. And majority of you are still sitting on the fence, doing political correctness, saying some people are doing too much. They complain too much. They criticize too much. This one too much, that one too much. Nigeria will happen to you. You are going to become us, and even worse, just a matter of time. So when they say they are, I believe him. Desperate time, they say, deserves desperate measures. If Tinubu and David is still walking about, and they know they don't have any plan of fixing Nigeria, they don't have the solution. Let me tell you something, just so it doesn't continue to sound like, you know what I mean, I am putting you on the edge, making you feel like it's a doom. Number one, if the way I am presenting this to you is sounding like, or if I am sounding like Nigeria is doomed, and everything about Nigeria is doomed, there's nothing anybody can do, it's already doomed. If I am sounding like that to you, Baba, you are right, yo. But again, if you disagree with me, it's because you are seeing it differently. And I'm not going to dispute that. But there's something I want you to remember, okay? When my presentation sounds like Nigeria is doomed, which is true, that Nigeria is doomed when Nigeria continues in this trajectory, I am saying them by presenting to you evidence. Do you understand that? Tinubu is a doom. This doom started with Bokwari. Now, the trajectory of Bokwari that brought this division, brought this poverty, brought this insecurity and corruption, the trajectory is the same trajectory Tinubu is continuing. If you disagree with Bokwari and you are supporting Tinubu, you are a madman, and a mad woman. So if I am sounding like it's a doom, it's because it is doom. You cannot say you agree that Bokwari failed and destroyed Nigeria, and then you are saying you believe Tinubu is going to fix it. You are a madman, Now, if your own trajectory is different, you need to present the evidence that is contrary. Because my own evidence is what you can easily lay your hands on right now. But your own evidence is likely going to be based on the theory of blame game, which is the trademark of APC. You cannot hate Buhari and begin to defend Tinubu. You are a mad person. And there is no apology for that. And if your theory of believing in Tinubu is that you agree that Bokwari failed, and then you believe that Tinubu is doing something better, but your theory is about blaming what people have not done, or what they didn't do, or what they did, as your theory of, well, Tinubu nko is going to be different. It should be given time. Were gidiniel, and you are just a were to disguise you. Were the disguise. That's what they call it. Were in disguise in you, and you cannot deceive us. We know your game. Tinubu has no plan. There is none. Nothing like they are working on it. They are not working on anything. See, the situation is like this. Dollar has turned to 1,200 naira to a dollar. In 5 months, Nigeria naira lost 500 naira in 5 months. And do you know that this decision to further destroy the Nigeria naira was taken by Tinubu because they had no plan. Number one, they said subsidy is gone because they want to save money from it. But they did not tell you that oil theft is also gone, because that wasn't. Then they brought back the subsidy because marketers are demanding for dollars. And because demand is high and supply is low, the exchange rate lost its value. That's what they told you based on their own announcement. But ladies and gentlemen, even though they told you, you are not spending naira, it's none of your business if naira and dollar increase. Before these criminals came in, Buhari said he was removing subsidy on some certain items. Because usually in Nigeria depends 90% on importation of everything they need to use in Nigeria every year. The past governments in Nigeria have failed to invest in the real and true infrastructure like electricity in the last 24 years. So if you wanted to import anything, you will need to go and buy dollars. So because of this, over the years, Nigeria government subsidized how much people who are marketers or traders would have access to dollars. That was when Nigeria had plenty dollars. And according to record, Nigeria had up to $15 billion in Nigeria Central Bank before APC, Egbekegbe, came in, which was so available that Nigeria could determine how much you are going to buy dollars. So if you go to the bank and your bank says a dollar is 140 naira, and you go to the black market, your black market says a dollar is 190 naira. As a businessman, which one would you go to? The bank, of course. But when APC, Egbekegbe, came in, they created what they call the round tripping. Okay? Then they now put embargo, remove subsidy on some certain items for traders who wanted to have access to the dollars. If you want to go and buy wheat, if they are selling dollars for 190 naira, you are going to have it for that same 190 naira. We are not going to sell it for you at 140 naira because we wanted to grow the wheat in Nigeria. Economic sense, Abi? Okay. If you want to be a rice supplier, okay, and instead of us selling a dollar to you at the rate of 140 naira to a dollar, go to the black market and buy it for 200 naira to a dollar, because we want people to grow the rice in Nigeria. We want to stop importation of rice. We want to create jobs in Nigeria. We want to combat food inflation in Nigeria. Economic sense, Abi? So they removed subsidy on those dollars. But they now create subsidy in another way, dollar subsidy, and it was called round tripping. For the other business items that they did not remove subsidy dollar, you see those who are businesses, whether your business is to go and bring something that had the dollar subsidy or had no dollar subsidy, nobody had access to the dollar anymore. They created the middlemen. People wey dey sell recharge card for Daura, they became overnight billionaires by becoming middlemen between Central Bank of Nigeria and the Nigerian banks and the Nigerian traders. Remember, to make Nigeria function and run well, 90% of what Nigerians need, they have to bring them out of Nigeria. And to bring them out of Nigeria, you need to change your naira to a dollar. Now, because you have nothing you are producing and your naira has no backing, the dollar will be the sale of the dollar will be determined by the owners of the dollar, not you with the owner